I tell all my clients this, that your why is the most important thing. So sitting down and really reflecting, why do I really want to do this? And your why has to be strong and like word that you have no doubt that this is what you want to do. You don't need to know the how because it will happen. If your why is so strong, then the how will come along. Because guess what? We can learn anything from something called Google. Every question has an answer that you could research to find out about. I continued working and did well at it. But I tell the young people today, do what you love and the money will come. And what you're doing, if you're stuck right now in a job that you don't enjoy, or you're not happy with, use that experience to do what you love and start that part-time kind of like job or gig that you want to do and play with it. And if you don't like it, then go on to the next thing. You don't have to do this for the rest of your life.
Welcome to the Employee to Entrepreneur channel. Please subscribe so every week you get to hear from amazing guests that share their stories and inspiration and motivation to help them in their journey, and hopefully it will inspire you as well in your transition from employee to entrepreneur. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. This is all about how people have transitioned from employee to entrepreneur. Anita Sarda here, and I'm really excited about our next guest. She had such an employee journey and had a very successful employee world and transitioned to entrepreneurship. She now runs multiple businesses. I do talk about that a lot, about how important it is that as an entrepreneur, we change our mindset to actually have different opportunities to do so many different things. So I'm really excited to showcase and introduce you to Sylvia. All of her information is obviously going to be in the show links so that you can learn a little bit more about her. Sylvia, thank you so much for being here and participating and sharing your wisdom to our audience. If you could share a little bit around what you've done. What was your employee world like? I know that you had a bit of an entrepreneurial mindset throughout the entire employee world that you had, and you were doing little bits of things on the side. But what really took because it takes a courage to transition and decide I'm going to be an entrepreneur, even if you have the little inks of desire in between in your life. So share with us a little bit more about you, your background, and what you've done.
Thank you, Anita, first of all, for having me on the show. I truly appreciate allowing me to share my experiences. I had a 32-year career in sales and marketing, and my job was to help businesses grow their business through advertising. And so I really got to know a lot about different types of businesses, which was such an advantage to have because you're sharing stories with each individual business, their struggles, how they became successful. So I learned a lot from my clientele also. My actual successful career, which I reached top sales in Canada, reached so many different benchmarks. I was happy in my career, but always had a longing for something more. And so I always had part-time gigs, we might call them, where I would do home parties, selling lingerie for a while. And then I started selling costume jewelry on the side. And I really just enjoyed the interaction with people and having the sales ability to just connect with people.
Now, did you know that you were being an entrepreneur even on the side, or was it just it was fun and you were making a little bit of extra money, or were you like, okay, I'm going to practice being an entrepreneur?
You know what? I fell into it because I enjoyed it so much. It was something that I just fell into it. Now that I think back on it and being a full-time entrepreneur now, I really attribute my success to my father's entrepreneurial spirit because he instilled in us that you have to work hard, means to work smart and to do things for yourself. And that's where I got that kind of spirit and doing things extra. I just felt there was so much more and I wanted to explore every avenue. And so I did. And then eventually at one point I had 20 people on my downline and I was
Best
training
way.
them,
Yeah,
and I
the
was
best way to
training
become
them.
an entrepreneur.
That's right. And I was training them and I thought, okay, this is great. And I really was enjoying it. So then, of course, kids come along and your trajectory kind of changes for a while. But I had that same spirit and kept my, obviously, my full-time career and then eventually then started up again.
I'm a big advocate. I do say this a lot is if you're looking to transition into entrepreneurship, MLM, network marketing, though gets a really bad rap and it's so unfortunate that it
Mhm.
does, but it is an amazing place to get phenomenal training in entrepreneurship, the ability to build a business right out of a box, really, where you're
Yes.
not having to build everything yourself. Most of them have an excellent compensation plan and excellent products or services. So that's really great. I love meeting people who also have gone down that path. I do find a lot of them are accidental entrepreneurs.
Because they love the product or they want to sell or they want to do something. They want to get out of the house a couple of nights of the week. And it's the turnkey solution that most of them have, where they have their products, their service, their pricing. It's just really, here you go, start doing your business. So they're quite successful and they do get a bad rap, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. You started to mention your kids, but maybe walk us through what was a really pivotal moment that kind of changed the trajectory of your career or even like this journey that started to become more of a full-time entrepreneur. What was that pivotal moment for you?
I actually went into early retirement, which I was very fortunate to be able to do. And I knew that something was brewing inside of me, what I wanted to do, but didn't know how it was going to come to fruition. I had been doing a lot of training in New York and LA with Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, a lot of personal self-development courses. And then after retirement, I had a calling. And I'll remember that moment like clear as day, where, I was hiking and found a little motel in the middle of nowhere at the Pretty River with my girlfriends. And these cars came up filled with women who we asked them, "Hey, what's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we're on a women's retreat." And it was like light bulbs went off. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do women's retreats because I was planning all kinds of weekends for my girlfriends all the time and said, hey, maybe I could make a career out of this. So I wanted to add value to the retreats and decided to become a life coach, a life mastery consultant with the Brave Thinking Institute.
I'm a really big advocate for it, and I think people who've been watching my channel will know I say this all the time. When we're open for opportunities, they do appear. The question is, did you keep your eyes open? And what I'm always saying is that if you're watching this, it's you are someone who is either in transition or wanting to transition or curious about transitioning. And probably my best advice is this example. Keep your eyes open to those moments that appear where it's like this voice that says, you should do that.
Yeah. And it usually comes out of the blue when you least expect it. And so when you have an open mind, heart, and spirit, opportunities will come your way. I always say that when you least expect them out of the blue, they will show up. And it's just like, okay. And then you just have to really listen to that instinct, that whispering voice inside you that says, this is what you should do. And
Well,
a
I like
lot of
the fact
people
that not only
you
listening,
don't.
you took action.
Yes, exactly. That's the next step. Yeah, action.
So to walk us through that a little bit. So you heard this voice, you already had a little bit the entrepreneurial inkling. And then what was it about taking the action that was really great and easy to do? And then what was really hard about taking that action?
Yeah. So for me, and I tell all my clients this, that your why is the most important thing. So sitting down and really reflecting, why do I really want to do this? And your why has to be strong and like word that you have no doubt that this is what you want to do. You don't need to know the how because it will happen. If your why is so strong, then the how will come along. Because guess what? We can learn anything from something called Google. Every question has an answer that you could research to find out about. So then I went through the discovery process and went and said, how do I want to do this? And I found the Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey, who's part of The Secret, and I took her courses. It was during COVID, so you can imagine it was all virtual. They do have live coaching normally, but because it was COVID, I did it virtually. And in 6 months, I became a certified life coach because I was determined to get it completed and wanted to get started. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how. And so it just happened step by step. I think my first retreat, I had 26 women attending. And that was like just incredible because I was exuberating the energy and the excitement of doing this. Didn't know how it was going to come out and didn't know if it was going to be a success, but obviously it was. So I was really happy about it.
That's so amazing. Congratulations on that. Sometimes it's the leap of faith to go, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't have any, because I'm guessing you didn't really have any skills or experiences from your employee corporate world that allowed you to just go, oh, look, I'm going to be a life coach and run retreats, and I'm going to have 26 women who just show up.
That is true. However, what we learn in corporate is certain skills that we can adapt into being an entrepreneur, right? Like my salesmanship, the ability to connect with people, to be compassionate, to be understanding, to create a rapport with people. Those are skills that we take along with us. I had amazing training with my corporation, like high level training that really helped me in my connecting with people and my experience with my clientele too. So you take those with you.
Yeah, amazing. And being able to identify them or take the training, like for those people watching and you're still in an employee job and trying to transition, then take whatever training they'll give you. Go and ask
Mhm.
for it. If there are things that you know that are a weakness, if there are sales trainings or things, that's what a great insight that is, because you're right, to be able to take some of that training, but then say, okay, how can I apply it in the next transition that I'm doing?
Yeah, for sure, because a lot of it's free. They offer it for free. And like we had like resources upon resources that we can even advance our own level of education. And so I really am very grateful for all those opportunities that I took advantage of.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because I find that, and you and I both know this, you can Google anything, you can chat GPT anything. It becomes this notion of there's all this information to train. Why would I need to pay for a coach or training? And of course, I know you've spent thousands of dollars on, I have tens of thousands of dollars on training and mentors and coaching and the rest of it. Why, when there's so much free available out there, why would you do that?
The first the response to that is if you could have done it on your own, you would have done it by now, is the first answer to that question. The second is a coach will guide you in the direction that you need to go specifically because they have the experience. So they will guide you, first of all. They will provide you with the tools that you need to get you to where you are currently and bridge the gap to where you want to be. And more importantly, they'll cheer you on and keep you accountable
Wow.
because that's what it's about. It's about accountability, having that person who can check in on you and see where you're at and support you. It's like either taking the long road to your path. I'm not saying you can't do it on your own. It's taking the long, spiny, winding road to get to where you want to be, or a directed path where they're going to say, this is where you need to go based on what the individual wants.
Yeah, and compressing time. Why have to, obviously for you, you've had a tremendous career. You've pivoted to be an entrepreneur. I don't think you want to take 30 years to be an expert at being an entrepreneur.
At my age, of course, no, I don't want to do
I don't know
that.
why anybody would want to do that. Particularly, you're right. At a certain point, if those people have transitioned, if you're watching this, and you're 25 years old, okay, maybe you got enough time to make every single mistake. But
Exactly. And the thing is, one of the important factors is knowing that now that I know what I know, I wish I knew back then that I could take advantage of. So we can share our wisdom, share our experiences, share the third party stories that we have experienced with our clients and say, okay, in this situation, this is how you'd handle it. And with youth and inexperience, if you're stepping into something completely new, like you can't expect to know how to do accounting if you've never done it before. There's practice it takes and learning, etc. So it's about having the guidance. I think that's the most important.
so, who's been or what has been the biggest influence in this journey of yours?
Hmm. That's a good question, Anita. The I am have really focused on networking
Hmm.
and surrounding myself with people like yourself and like-minded people who are living in that mindset of living your best life. and that living the best version of yourself. We can have those days where we go into the self mode of woe is me and pity, etc. Have those moments. Have your pity party, but then take the next step and go forward, move forward. And taking one step each day towards your dream is better than doing nothing at all. And that's what I say to my clients. I say, okay, you had a bad day. Okay, good. That's done. The sun's going to rise tomorrow. Let's move forward. So I've really surrounded myself with people who have already been successful. And these are the people I look up to and want to not copy them, but like get their mentorship and really use their experience to see what I want to do that's similar or not. And so I really reach out and collaborate a lot with women. In most cases, it's women, but people in general who have already achieved where I want to go. They say, well, what's it saying? If you want to be an eagle, you have to fly with the eagles, not with the seagulls. So that's
Yes.
what I try and do. Yeah.
Yes. I had a long corporate career, and the stereotype in the corporate world is that people don't help each other, and you're trying to, I'm not going to give away my trade secrets because I don't want you to take over my role. And so I'm not saying everybody has that experience. That's definitely the stereotype. I've very much been privileged to have wonderful people in my corporate career who have elevated me, but it has still been a very different world being an entrepreneur. So, talk a little bit about that because you said aligning yourself and working with people in your entrepreneurial journey or people who are transitioning. What is that mind shift that people need to have or accept in helping or asking for help from peers or
That,
mentors?
that is a really good point. So in corporate or as an employee, it was very competitive because I was in a sales environment. It was very competitive to be at the top because it's all about numbers, right? As an entrepreneur, I found that you're relying a lot on your actions and no one's to blame but you if you're doing something or not doing something correctly. And one thing I learned fast is I'm not an expert in everything and I don't pretend to be. And so it's about asking for help from the right people. So this is where the networking has helped me because I'll just put it out there. Hey, does anyone know a lawyer who could read a contract? Whatever the case may be, that someone will come up. Yeah, my friend is a corporate lawyer, whatever, that can read that for you. Perfect. We help each other in that way and support each other, knowing that a lot of us have been in those shoes before. So when it's about asking for help when you need it, knowing, recognizing that you need the help, and focusing on the energy and time to do the things that are going to produce and make you money, as opposed to sitting at your desk for a full day trying to put an ad together. Hire someone to do that because your time is better off doing something different.
And have you found a difference in the way people come and help from a mentorship perspective? Is it important to have a mentor? Do you have one? And how do you use it versus a peer or accountability partner or trainer?
Yeah, like it's important to align yourself with someone that is your accountability partner and people who are on the same track as you, who are wanting to do the same things, and you touch base with them or you have weekly or bi-weekly meetings with them to say, hey, where are you at? What are you struggling with? Because regardless of where you are in your path, there's always going to be something that's going to come up that's going to be a challenge, and it's going to set, you're going to feel it's overwhelming, it's too big to overcome. But it's about taking a step back and realize and getting maybe someone else's perspective on it, on how they handled that situation. And you're saying, oh, I'm not alone. And that's a big thing. Knowing that you're not alone, networking is help because even though you're working at home alone as a sole entrepreneur,
Right.
then you're feeling that you don't have anyone to bounce ideas off because everything lies on yourself. So having these networking groups really allows you to share so that you know that you're not alone.
Amazing. So you've been now pretty much a full-time entrepreneur for about 5, 6 years. Is that right?
Yes, 5, 6 years, yeah.
You go back and give yourself some advice.
Hmm.
Let's say 6.5 years ago, what advice, knowing what you know now, would you have given to yourself back then?
Is get the help you need.
Ah,
Get the help. Because at first I was like, I can do everything. I know how to do this. And so I was like, no, I don't. So get the help you need and recognize that. is the first step. Recognize that you're going to need help, perhaps writing a business plan or getting some accounting or tax information that you need, or social media. Like we all think we can do posts, but how effective are they? What kind of tracking do you need? So it's about understanding that there's so much involved in being an entrepreneur because you're not only working in the business, but you're working on it. And so knowing that your efforts should be working on the business, not in it, and then getting people to help you whenever you need it. That's the advice I'd give to myself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting whenever I ask this question because people give totally different answers for themselves.
Mhm.
It's so interesting because their answer is something that's often still applicable every day in the future, including today as we're talking.
Yes.
It's something that we still think. And leading to that, asking for help sooner and stuff. I know you have multiple businesses. It's not just you did the one. You didn't go from one employee job and go, okay, I've got one entrepreneurial venture for the rest of my life. Very quickly, you started to diversify and you do a number of different things, which is fabulous. What made you decide or think that you either should take on more, can do more, have the capability of doing more? And how did they all come to you? Like, how did this all happen? And why should someone diversify their entrepreneurial journey?
As an individual and a single mom, I'm the sole earner in my household. And so I really had to take opportunities when they came up. And so I first started as an entrepreneur while I still had my career of a cleaning company. And that started out of need. Most of our either we fall into it or it's because of necessity that these come up, these opportunities. And so I have a bed and breakfast up north and I needed cleaning in between. And I hated relying on other people to do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company. So this is where it came to fruition. And so I had that company up till this past January and decided to close it down because it wasn't bringing me joy anymore. And I committed to anything that doesn't bring me joy to stop doing. And then other opportunities come up, like the coaching and the workshops and the public speaking, the retreats. That's all about connecting with people. And so the opportunity to start Pitch a Friend also came into the picture this past February, where it's an opportunity for friends to pitch their single friends to a live audience or crowd at a brewery or a pub in a 3 to 5 minute PowerPoint presentation in hopes that they make a connection with someone single in the audience. And it's so much fun. It's a celebration of friendship. It brings me so much joy just to see how people respond and react. And it's just a lot of fun. And then there's a mix and mingle. So that has brought joy back into my life. So I feel like for me, it's about diversifying and having maybe some passive income, like rental income or other different opportunities that come your way.
So you already touched on it, but I'm going to ask the question and ask you to go into more detail. But what are something that you're really excited about as you're going? Because I think it's been 5 years since COVID, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's energy has really shifted in the last little while. I think it's time that we get excited and feel joy again.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, it's about helping individuals. So be it in their personal life with the coaching at the retreats or in the workshops, is about helping them and seeing that moment when the light bulb goes off. And it's nothing magical that I say or anything, but it's about self-reflection that you're asking the right questions that they then see, oh my gosh, now I need to know. And it's that moment that really excites me when it's happening live right in front of me. And I'm so excited about that. And so in business too, is offering like events like the Gig to Grow Summit that's happening on October 4th in Markham. It's about helping small businesses, small entrepreneurs who want to elevate their business to the next level. So be it by learning some new tools, AI tools, how to help them with their website, having different services that they need, that there's a gap in their business that they want to learn. This summit is for that individual who wants to learn more and elevate their business.
Yeah, so depending on where you live, there's different summits and things that you can go to. But if you live obviously in the Ontario area, this would be
Yeah.
a great one in the fall of 2025. But just the sheer fact that you've been organizing amazing events and
Yeah.
retreats, and it seems to really be your ballywhack. So, you have a beautiful poster behind you that says dream.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that. So, what are things that inspire you? Because I think that there's a difference between why, and I'd love you to maybe deep dive into this a bit. What's the difference between a why and maybe a dream? When people say, "What is your why?" versus "What do you dream about?" Is there a difference for you?
There is. Your dreams are big and always dream bigger than you could ever imagine because anything is possible, right? So your dream is that you have to have some reason, and that's where your why comes in, why you want that dream for sure. But for me, it's about, does that dream bring me joy? When I wake up in the morning, am I excited about it? Am I going to do good by this dream, not just for myself, but others around me? And it's about visualizing that dream because I'm really big on visualizing things in advance, like it's already happened. So I see myself already with a retreat center and hosting my own retreats at my own retreat center where they're all year round. I have that vision. I know what I'm wearing. I know who I'm with. I know the beaches around me, the sound, the birds, all of that is happening. That women were doing yoga and meditation, that's already part of my vision. And that's why you have to dream big. The difference between dreaming and the why, it goes hand in hand because your why is just expressing the reason that you want to do this, where the dream is just more the actual vision of it all. Yeah.
So, is it important to have your why first or to dream first?
I believe you need to know your why first. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, knowing your why is really important than how. It's about really, you obviously you have to have the dream first. And now that I think about it, to know what it is, and then discover your why. Do I really want this? Why do I want this? And then once you have that, it's about visioning that it's already happened for you and knowing that the doors will open for you.
So it's another question that I often ask. When we're in corporate, tends to be defined by rank levels, pay levels, your pay scale, getting that corner office.
Mm.
How is success or goals for you, but in general, since you've been in this entrepreneurial journey, defined comparison to a dream, to your
Mm.
why? Like, how do you know you'll have achieved success? Is it when you open your retreat center, say next year, like then you're done?
You're never done. You have to create new dreams.
Yeah. Because, someone else's imposes successes when you're an employee. Someone else
Right.
redefines that for you.
It's number driven or rank driven for sure. For me, again, I'm going to go back to seeing other people's success,
Mhm.
seeing that what I can provide them to make them successful because I'm into helping other people. And so that's, I believe, that's how I measure my success when I see other people being successful and saying, wow, that really helped them. My 12-week training program helped them in achieving that goal and seeing their transition from where they are to where they wanted to be. That's what I measure success on. And having events like my International Women's Day event that I host every year in March, having 150 women come together and having speakers and vendors and having a full day of excitement, enjoyment, and women walking away saying, oh my gosh, this was such a great event. We had so much fun. I learned a lot from the speakers. That's the measure of success for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds so many things that you do now are event driven. Would you say that's really the basis of what you were doing? Was that always like you planning parties and things? Was that something that you've always loved and you're like, wow, I'm just gonna get paid to do it now? Or again, it's,
Well,
a little bit of an accident, or was it a bit more of a forthright thought of a path? What do I really like to do?
now that you mention that, like I loved hosting dinner parties for friends or just gatherings like game nights and things like that. Now that I think about, maybe that was part of it. Like it prepped me for all the planning of events,
Right.
but I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, it's so interesting as I listen or I interview people and I chat with others, even in networking. I find that if I can ask a few probing questions around what really sparks people's passion and joy, it's often the things that they always did on the side when they were younger.
And
Now,
that's what I say when people say, "Oh, I don't know what I want to do." I said, "What brought you joy as a child? What did you want to be when you grew up? What excited you back then?" So sometimes we have to revert back to that to understand what we really truly want, because a lot of people are stuck and they don't know what they want. And so you help them go through that process and discovery and writing that blueprint for their life, which a lot of people really need and don't do. They just are living by default instead of by design.
I love that. And absolutely. And I think it's at every age. Maybe when you ask a 5-year-old, maybe not. But at the time, that 5-year-old is turned into a young adult. They didn't do what the school system says that you should just know what your career is. Your parents, like, you should know what everything is. And then all of a sudden they're 25 or 35, 45, 65. And
Yeah.
I'm just leaving. What did you say, by default?
Yeah, exactly. And the hard thing is a lot of the times we get stuck in what our parents want us to do, what society tells us to do. I went to school to become a teacher. I studied languages. I was going to be a language teacher. I fell into the job of my career, and that was the one and only job I ever had for
Wow.
32 years. And it was driven by money and the enjoyment of it, obviously, because I was making more money. I made more money in my summer than I did in a whole year that a teacher would make. So I said, what am I doing? So I continued working and did well at it. But I tell the young people today, do what you love and the money will come. And it doesn't have to, I mean, what you're doing, if you're stuck right now in a job that you don't enjoy or you're not happy with, use that experience to do what you love and start that part-time kind of like job or gig that you want to do and play with it. And if you don't like it, then go on to the next thing. You don't have to do this for the rest of your life. And I find that the youth of today are good at that, where we were more stuck in, we felt that we needed the benefits, we needed to be loyal. Like they're not as loyal these days as we were, and to be able to produce. And they say if they're not happy, they leave. And I think that's great. That's the way it should be. If you're not happy, you should move on and move up, move forward. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it is a different world for sure, depending on which age group that you're doing this at and you're looking for it. So it feels scary though to make those adjustments and to make those changes. How does one keep the courage or have that courage to say, this isn't working and I need to do something different, especially
Well,
if they need the money?
right. So that's why I'm saying keep what you're doing
Mhm.
for the financial reasons and until you find that thing that's going to replace it.
Mhm.
Because that was my situation for sure. I was making amazing money. I could never leave my full-time job to start the small businesses that I wanted to do because it could never replace it at that point. But I was doing both. And then you transition from one to the other. And how you transition is once you build the other up and you say, okay, this is a point where I could leave. And it might not be replacing it completely, but there's the potential to do it and you're in a good place. Then that's what I suggest. Your job is to help you build the thing that you really want to enjoy, your passion project, we call it, when you want to build your passion project, and then eventually transition out of it. Yeah.
So what is the most influential personal development? Like you talked a little bit about personal development and things like
Mhm.
that. What for you, what is your top three books? Or actually, let's do this question two ways. If I'm new into the journey of personal development and
Mhm.
I don't really have not done it, I don't really read a lot, what would you tell me to start doing as I'm transitioning and I'm in this entrepreneurial new space?
So that is a difficult because I've been through both the reading and the actual personal experience of courses. Some of the books I have, some of them are behind me, and I could give you a list of them, and I call them shelf help books because they sit on the shelf. And you've learned, and I've taken, they're all highlighted, etc., and they're amazing once you read them. Now it's about reading it and taking action. That's the difference when it comes to reading. I enjoy experiencing things and taking courses live in person where you go and you escape and you leave everything behind and you're focused on yourself and developing yourself. And that's what I've done a lot of. I did a lot of work with T. Harv Eker, Secret of the Millionaire. I did some work with Tony Robbins, with some live courses and walking over the hot coals and doing some crazy stuff that help you overcome fear and taking those extra steps. It's about collaborating with people, working as a team with other individuals, and knowing that you're not alone. So that's what I would recommend for anyone to do is take some courses or talk to another coach that has done it and share some ideas with you that has experience. If you can't go and spend thousands of dollars to go away and do these things, then find yourself a coach who has experienced stuff like that they can share their experiences with and what they have learned from it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. The idea is just to, that's why there's so many books and so many courses out there. You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And that's where a lot of people are finding that they feel, where do I start? Where do I begin? There's
Right.
so much noise and so much out there. It's about everyone is different. So like you might find something and not like it, but don't think that all of them are like that. When I started with the Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey, what I loved about their teachings was they were God-centered. And so that they had a spiritual kind of background, and it was very self-fulfilling for me where I needed because I was going through divorce and everything at the time. And it was really fulfilling that I wanted to come from that place
Right.
also when I was helping others.
And absolutely, when you can tackle a few things, your spiritual with your personal growth, help with your finances, that's the wheel of life,
Yeah.
right? Being able to balance all of those things in a great way. Yeah, I think that one of the things I've seen of all really successful entrepreneurs is how much growth they are constantly doing to change their life. So it sounds like that's really been instrumental for you.
Absolutely. Everything is changing so fast with AI. It's just, we have to learn. I'm a self-learner, but again, if I don't know something, I'm gonna ask someone to teach me because I really want to know. I need to know kind of person. And so if you want to know about something and you're thinking, oh, this AI, it's such a negative, like you got so many naysayers about it and everything. It's fantastic. You have to see how it's going to help in the future. Robots aren't taking over. They still need to be programmed by people.
Right.
It's just incredible, like what AI is going to do and what it's going to do for us to help us in our businesses.
Now, do you feel like AI is going to really become a lot easier? I read somewhere how you can use AI as your therapist.
Mhm.
Ask your AI ChatGPT questions and it pops back therapy for you or whatnot. So, what do you feel like the role? You're a life coach, you're a certified life coach. What do you feel that how does AI help someone, but also hinder? And what's the difference in the way we navigate the world that we live in, especially as a life coach? You know, why do I need to work with a human if I've got a machine?
The difference is this, if you're wanting an answer to a question, you could probably get an answer from AI, but can they share their experience? Which is what I've been talking about. Getting someone who has been through it or who can relate, who can share their experiences personally or from other people that they have worked with, that they can say, this is how my experience in it, and this is how it worked for me or it didn't work for me. So I think the personal and human connection obviously is not there. But if you're just looking for straight answers, yeah, it could help you for sure. Anything like that can help. But it's the connection that you're going to need and knowing that you're not alone again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so true. AI is so great for the tactical side, but the connection piece, we're humans. That's
That's
really
right.
what we're designed for. So I do
Yeah.
love the idea of how you bring people together so you don't feel alone. And I think that's definitely something that when you're a corporate employee, sometimes you do feel alone because if you're rising up the ranks. But I think as an entrepreneur and you're a solo entrepreneur, it's a very different feeling of being alone.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I've also started my sisterhood sessions once a month, every first Wednesday of the month. Women jump on. It's a virtual thing. We went back to the virtual because so many people are coming from different areas
Right.
of the country, the world, etc., where we just connect and we talk about a topic. It could be personal, it could be business related, and then we just discuss. We're able to express ourselves. We learn from each other. We share our experiences about that topic and just come together and just listen and learn. So I really feel that, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, those kind of sessions are fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. As we're wrapping up, let me ask you, you had a career for 30 years. Do you wish that you had started your transition sooner into entrepreneurship?
I think because I did do businesses while I had my career, I'm okay. I think things were meant to be the way they were. So I really think it's not a either or situation. I truly believe you could do both at the same time. And it worked really well for me financially because I had the steady job and the income to be able to supplement my passion projects and do the things that I wanted to do. So it worked really well. So I highly recommend that because it worked financially. You had the bills paid and also got to do the extra things that you wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great answer. What a great answer. I really hope that the people are listening here who are struggling or straddling or worried about it or going, oh, I missed the boat. I should have done it sooner. You're right. There's a time for everything and take a leap or
Yeah.
do it on the side, which I always say is a great way of doing it. Do
Yes.
it on the
Yeah.
side.
And then you'll know when the moment is where you're fully transitioning into it.
Yeah.
The moment will be very clear where you're financially able, is obviously for a lot of people. And second of all, where they realize they can't be doing both. So they have to choose one or the other. And most of the time, it's the entrepreneurial side of it because that's what they love to do. Yeah,
Yeah. Or on the flip side, you realize I don't really enjoy this and I don't want to do it and I'm just going to love my job, right?
exactly. Yeah.
There's also power in that to be
Yeah.
able to say, I did it on the side. You didn't leave your whole life to say, this isn't my calling.
Yes, that's so true for sure.
But
Yeah.
I love that it's your calling. And I love how many different things that you do to help people and go out into the world and chase your dreams and help people dream their dreams.
Yeah. I
And
enjoy it with all my heart.
you're such an inspiration. I absolutely love it. I thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and what you feel. And I know people have gotten a lot out of this. I did. I
Oh,
just so
thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I just want people to live the best version of themselves.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Sylvia's informations will be in the notes. And if you ever need to reach out to her, talk to her. She's phenomenal. If you're a woman and interested in a retreat, absolutely reach out to her for sure. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, you were inspired just as I was by our amazing guest. Please subscribe because every week we will be interviewing someone else who's made that transition from employee to entrepreneur. In the comments, please share the one nugget that you heard that will change your business as well.